were a bit raunchy and raucous.
We kept you on a really short leash.
Nice to be on someone's leash sometimes.
I was gonna say, with that hair, you better play an instrument. It is so rock and roll. I love it.
I think she's a they. That didn't come out right. Can you do this for, a donut?
People will do anything for a T-shirt.
That's like genius.
Hi. Hi, how are you? That's Denise, my co-host.
Hi.
So you made it, Samantha. Are you on your phone?
Yes, I'm on my phone. My internet
good.
came back, and then my computer was being weird, and I couldn't get into my Google account on my computer, so I just set up my phone and a light or something.
It actually looks
I'm on my
good for the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of times
it's Android.
A lot of times when people are on the phone, it's small. Like you can't really see them. So
I did it. I have it on a clamp. It's vertical, and I'd set up a little light and stuff. So hopefully it's good.
I feel like I scrambled the same way, but
you're the showbiz theater girl, so you know what to do, right? Lighting, sound.
As best I can.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. Like, tell us what you're up to and what you do, and how you guys found each other.
Okay, so what I do, I'm a theater teacher first. I started teaching theater in 2018 when I graduated from FIU with a bachelor's in the arts for theater, for tech, and for performance. Okay. I actually teach at the high school that I went to. So they kind of just brought me back to teach middle school theater and some high school theater. So we're working on our show. We're doing Little Shop of Horrors.
Excellent.
So I'm excited. But that's kind of what I mainly do throughout the year when I'm not working in the summer. And in the summer, which is how I met JD, I direct and or produce shows for Lesbian Thespians, which is a local theater company here. And they actually do more than theater. They do music, they do some fundraisers, they do a lot. They do some community outreach stuff. So JD was at, I think, the last weekend of Load Bearing Walls, or the second to last weekend. I think you were at the last weekend.
The very last one. The very last production, yes.
Yeah, August 17th.
Yep.
And you came up and you were like, hi, oh my gosh, it was great. I want to have you on my podcast. And I was like, you look like Joan Jett. That's awesome. And we just talked for a bit and we took pictures. And that's how we met. And then that was not even maybe less than a month ago.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, she's good at finding talent, seeking out
on the show. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I was in Florida, but I was not, like, I had just got there. So I was still like jet lagged and had a lot on my plate, and I couldn't make it, but I was glad she did, because
don't worry, we recorded it. Don't worry.
We had Elena on. Yeah, and I was so amazed at her energy. Like, I swear to God, it took me like an hour to unwind from that podcast, because I was like, cousin,
Yeah, she's awesome.
And when we started the podcast, when we first came on, you were like, "Oh, I'm like almost didn't make it." Right? You were like,
I'm so tired.
A headache or something. Yeah. And then after 40 minutes or an hour with Elena, and we were like raring to go.
Yeah, I swear to God, it was like having a B12 infusion. Like, it was just totally different from the start to the end of that day. That was great, though. And sometimes you just need that. I mean, her energy was like infectious. All I kept thinking was how you guys must benefit from that.
Oh yeah,
man.
So I met Elena when we did our 2 shows ago, which was a Goddess Tour. She came on to fill a role, and her and I immediately, I think, kind of synced up really quickly. Like, we have quite a lot of things in common, but like one of them is she's Cuban American, I'm Cuban American, and we have like a similar kind of upbringing. Yeah. So we're both loud and like kind of overbearing sometimes on people, like not in a bad way, but very much like, I have this idea, let's do it. And so we synced up really quickly. And then ever since then, we've kind of like talking here and there. But since Load Bearing Walls started, and I think even a little bit before that during Dolores Street, she got super involved with Lesbian Thespians. She is like, she's doing all the social media and the advertising, and it is so great. We had such a huge shift in that, and she made a huge difference. She has all these great ideas, and she brings that energy to everything she does. Like, just talking to her on the phone every once in a while, I'll be like, okay, I'm good to go. Like, she, exactly like you were saying, she's super energetic. So I love, love, love. Like, I'm sad she wasn't like in the cast, of course, because like I would love to have her in every cast, but she always was involved doing something. So she was every few rehearsals, she was there. She was checking in on me. She was asking, how can we publicize this? I had an idea. She helped me make it happen. And yeah, so she's really like part of everything. So she's great. I love her.
Definitely get that.
Wears a lot of hats.
Yeah, I get that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, the best part to Elena is probably like, if you have an idea, she'll figure out a way to execute it. You know, like that's what you need. You know what I mean? Like, I get that. Like, I'm an idea person, but I lack in execution. You know, I lack getting it over the finish line. You know, and I hate that. I hate that about myself. So yeah, I've learned to like surround myself by people that will take it the next 5 yards and get it through. Get it, you know, punch it through. So yeah, we need people like Elena. Got Sam in the spotlight now. Sam, tell me a little bit about what it's like working with a gaggle of lesbians. Is everybody like what's the biggest thing? Like, do you end up like saying, oh, this relationship just spawned off, you know, oh no, these two are dating now. I can tell they're dating.
Oh, you know what's okay? So I've been doing theater since high school, both in school and in the community. I did Florida Shakespeare. I did a couple shows with Pembroke Pines Theater, the Performing Arts, and I did this one show down in Miami, Amparo, with Juggernaut Theater. That they do the Miami Motel Stories. So I've done a couple shows with different groups, but never one that was this specific. So this group brings a very, very interesting personality. And honestly, when it comes to the drama, it's very little of you know, that of the flirtation shits and all of that. That is something I see very often in I guess, like, just with this one experience. I don't speak, you know, for everybody. But I saw that more with the more general groups than like this specific group. But I think it has to do with, which is what I do like a lot about this company. I think it has a bit to do with how diverse it is. In the sense of like, you have a gaggle of lesbians, but quite a lot of our cast is queer in different ways. Like, I myself am openly bisexual. One of the actresses is also, a couple crew members are either straight or bisexual, or even I think someone's polyamorous. And then you have quite a lot of crew and part of the cast, like Goddess Tour, a lot were lesbians. And honestly, I think it has a little bit more to do, at least with just load-bearing walls. It has a little bit more to do with the fact that we were all women and it was such a small group that it was a very efficient, and I mean to speak on anything, but we were just such an efficient group. We finished blocking the show maybe a month and a half in. And the rest of it was just like experimenting with characters. I built the set at home, and if any of them wanted to help, they let me know. Got the like, it was very smooth. Honestly, I'm not like going like, no, there's nothing, it's boring, but it's smooth. It's exciting how much we get to do versus, you know, all this drama and all this nonsense. It's more so, you know, this person needs a little bit more attention, this person needs a little bit less attention, but nothing that was like, you know, lovey-dovey flirtationship, like relationship drama, nothing like that, honestly.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So I was almost disappointed. I was like, I thought I was getting something so exciting. And it's like, oh, there are people like us, like, obviously. So it was pretty refreshing, honestly.
That's amazing.
Did you build that wall, Samantha? Did you build the wall with the brick?
I built the whole set. I built everything.
Gosh. I have a great picture of the two of us in holding a sledgehammer in front of the wall. Oh, wow. You wear a lot of hats too.
Yeah, thank you. So aside from directing, talking more about LT, I first started with them last year, which was with The Boxes We Keep. And that, kind of similar to Elena, I came in to fill a role. And then little by little, talking with Carol, the founder, she said, "Oh, you have a lot of this experience. Do you mind helping me assistant direct?" And I was like, "Sure, whatever. I'd love to do that."
Yeah.
And little by little, she said, "Actually, do you want to just fully direct the show? Because you're so into this. You can build." I built the set for that show. I got the costumes together, and
Wow.
they brought some of their own things, but we collaborated on the sound cues. We collaborated on the playwright because we were able to be in contact with the playwright for that show too.
Oh, great.
So we kind of just formed the show together in such a way. And then I ended up just directing. That was my first directing show, but I didn't cast it from the beginning or anything like
Right.
that. And then I cast someone else. And so that kind of started with that. And then when I can't direct, for example, for Dolores Street, for Goddess Tour, the other shows that happened during the year that I didn't direct and I wasn't acting in, I built those sets. So I either bring things from the school and we kind of donate things back and forward, or we borrow from each other back and forward.
That's great.
Or we build brand new walls. Like for load bearing walls, we built a brand new wall. They had to be on wheels. It was this whole specific thing because there were spaces like this.
Yeah.
So it had to be this whole thing. But yeah, so I would say I mostly produce, and then once a year I get to direct, and it's so fun.
That's
Well,
great,
you did a
though.
great job, like as far as when they went from like one scene to another, or first they're in the apartment, when they went to the apartment as opposed
Mhm.
to when they were at her house with her mom. The way they moved it around was very subtle. Like you didn't know it, like in
Mhm.
the audience. It was very smooth, I guess is
Thank
the
you, thank
word.
you. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the
So
goal.
Yeah.
yeah, it was very smoothly done. And really, for the amount of things that were on the stage, it was really very well set. Like you felt like you were in the apartment. You felt like you were in the living room, and then the bedroom. And yeah, it was really very well done for the amount. And
Thank you
only
so
three
much.
people. There were only three people, Denise, in the play.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Three actresses in the whole
Yeah, the
play.
crew was bigger than the cast. The
Yeah.
crew, more people.
As it
No, it's
often
true. We had
is. Yeah.
two stagehands,
Yep.
our lighting director, our sound person, and then I was calling cues from the booth during the show. So our crew was like 5 or 6 people, and the cast was 3. So it was very fun to move around them.
I do remember those challenges, like when it comes to like community theater, local theater and
Mhm.
stuff. You have to be so creative when it comes to your sets. It's just insane. And the wheels thing, like I remember that
Yeah.
so well. I did
Mhm.
um, like I don't even know, like almost 10 years of community theater in Coral Springs.
Mhm.
Um, and that I was always just so stunned at the creativity, like the innovation, to go from, like, we did Camelot, and it was like, God, there was so many different, castle scenes, outdoor scenes, this scenes, that it was just like
Mhm.
people, they spinning walls and like it was
Mhm.
nuts. And I started off as a stage manager, for the first 5 years. So I remember those challenges, like
Hmm.
crazy.
Hmm.
And I mean, it's just not only is it so fun, and it is
Mhm.
so community driven, especially if you have a niche group like a bunch of lesbians, because everybody brings a skill set, that you didn't even expect for them to have. So between that and like being able to involve the community, like I know my at the time, my ex-in-laws had a paint store, so they would like donate all the paints that like were mismatched or that didn't sell,
Mhm.
stuff like that. And the guy that ran the theater, he would have all these deals with like department
Yeah.
stores and furniture stores, like, we'll put an ad in our playbill if we can use that couch that's on display.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
It's a
We
lot
did
of
exactly
wheeling and
that.
dealing. Yeah, it's a lot of wheeling and dealing that as an audience member, you just don't know about.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Like, it literally takes a village. Well, in your case, like, a village of lesbians.
Which is
But
very efficient. That's a
yeah,
very
Yes, which
efficient
they are very efficient.
village.
we do have that reputation, don't we?
Yeah.
That's great.
You know
But
what's
yeah,
funny? As I was hoping, one thing that like I'm joking on the stereotype. The hardest thing about this company is no one has a truck. And what sucks is I
Ah,
used to have a truck, me, and I'm like, I had the oh my god, I had a Ranger
you
and it
would
was my
think,
favorite truck. And I'm like, none of us have a truck. We have to
How did
rent
that
a
happen?
truck. What? It
You have a
was
lot
so
of like,
annoying.
Someone had a
Yeah.
U-Haul.
Yeah, it was like a dozen. Yeah, no one. Everyone had like a little Kia Elantra or
I was gonna say,
like me, I have a Jeep Compass, like these crossover cars. I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
these tiny little SUVs or
yeah.
hatchbacks,
We just
but
took
no
it in
one's
little
got a big truck.
pieces and we made trips and it was doable, thankfully. So it all worked out. I was like, man, I thought this was gonna be a lot easier with this specific aspect.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
God, that
that's
is
what it is.
so funny. There's
That's
a little known fact, like, yeah,
Mhm.
that's hilarious.
funny. Yeah, times have changed.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
we used to be known
Yeah,
for our big trucks and vans,
Yeah.
yeah.
that kind of stuff. That's too at least mom vans, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I think
Yeah.
one of us did and it worked out that day, but then for how much we had to move, it just wasn't working. So we
Yeah.
just all made trips.
Yeah.
But
Oh my God.
yeah.
Wow. The challenges. Oh
Hmm.
my God. And correct me if
Hmm.
I'm wrong, but you guys for the lesbian thespians work out of a couple different spaces, or are you always in the same space?
Usually. Okay, yes, usually we work out of a couple spaces, at least for the past year. We were at one specific place in Fort Lauderdale, that was like kind of close to Wilton Manors, and then also a different venue like Sunshine Cathedral, which is, oh my God, it's
Oh,
beautiful.
Yeah.
I could rave about Sunshine Cathedral.
Yeah.
yeah,
The
yeah,
nicest, best people. They know their stuff inside
yeah,
out and backwards. They're super accommodating. They are so, it's like going to like a friend of the family's house all the time.
Yeah.
They're always like, you can set up here, here's a space, let's help you load this in. Do you want our lights to look like this? We could try this, we could do our but they're the best. Like
Fantastic.
I love them. I love them. I love them. Like they're my favorite venue.
Yeah.
Um and then so we've moved a couple places. This past venue we couldn't because funding was pretty low. You might know, I don't want to get too specific into politics, but the state in
Yes.
general has
Grant.
cut a huge amount, as in like down to zero, literally, for arts funding.
Yeah.
So this year was the hardest year because there was nothing. It was all of us. So unfortunately, we were not able to like shine and be good with the stained beautiful glass windows on our faces doing our play
Right.
this year, but we really wanted to. But it's so much to compensate in what way that we can for the crew, the cast, the stipends that we can give, because
yeah,
people are giving so much time, so much energy to make the show
Right.
so amazing. A three-person show means that like the actors have 1/3 of the entire script on them versus an
yeah,
8, 10, 20-person show where they have a little bit of wiggle room and leeway. But the
Yeah.
script, they needed to give so much time to being off book, to going into rehearsals. They came over to my house. We did all the posters that move with their faces. We shot that all at my house. I set up this whole thing in my
oh,
living
wow.
room, and what like they came over. They gave that extra time, so they gave us so much. So we wanted to make sure that they were compensated the best that we could.
Oh,
So, and the
definitely.
materials and everything. So we wanted to, but this one we couldn't. But normally, yes, there's also another venue. So yeah, sorry, that was like a
Yeah. No,
long-winded
no, no, I get it.
explanation.
I get
I
it.
saw the comedy. It was a comedy show at the excuse me, the Sunshine Cathedral.
Mm,
Not too long ago. That was the one we
mhm,
had Rachel Cavello on, Denise, and we had
mhm.
Rachel on.
Yep.
That was the show she did.
Yep.
That's where you did the plays in that big in the room that's like their like would be their church
Yeah, the
area,
worship area. Yeah.
the worship area. Yeah. That is a beautiful area. But where
Yeah.
you guys were, um, that worked out really well. I thought that
Mhm.
it was a nice space because it was intimate. You could really,
Yes, I do like that about
it
it.
wasn't a bad seat, that's for sure.
Mm-mm.
Oh, I
Oh
love
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of times like I'll see that like a comedian is come like Hannah Enbinder from Hacks.
Mm.
Oh, I love her.
I know she was coming to London and she was gonna do some workshopping of some stand up, and they did it at the space called the Soho Theater, which is very like there's one for like a headliner, like where we saw Jeff Garland, and then there's the basement where the people can have that time and that space to workshop stuff, and it was kind of like being in a bar that had a tiny little stage that was only about this high, And
Mhm.
it felt like you could like touch that person, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Also probably the best way to workshop something because you're that
Yeah.
close. You can see people's expressions and body language and see if something's
Mhm.
right.
not working. And so, yeah, but I do like a little bit more of an intimate theater as opposed to going, into London and going to one of the West End theaters or something.
Mhm.
Because even though they're big and beautiful and old and amazing, they're also like the seats are old. There you have no
Mhm.
space. Your knees are literally it's like sitting
Yeah,
in an economy, plane and someone put their seat back, like you just have
Oh
no
my gosh.
space. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's tough. But
definitely not modern conveniences the way we have
yeah,
now.
yeah,
Theater
but
very
usually
colder.
it lends to the atmosphere, of
Yeah,
going to it, like a West End production of something. You kind of expect this. It's a payoff. It's a trade-off. You're
Mhm.
going to see a fantastic show, but you're going to be a little uncomfortable in your seat for 90 minutes.
right.
Mhm.
But it is
Yeah,
all like
Yeah.
steeped in tradition and history and all that kind of stuff. And I think the last play that I saw was called 222. It was a ghost
Mhm.
story, and it was really well done. And we went to see it, and Cheryl Cole, who used to be like huge here, like in Girls Aloud, and like I didn't really know who she was because of the music. I knew who she was from like TV shows, panel shows, you know, uh,
Mhm.
people talking about her. She married like a footballer over here, stuff like that. But she was the star of it, and my friend that got us the tickets, her bestie was the stage manager, so we got to go behind it after it finished. We got to go backstage, walk out onto the set, like check all these things out, and
Mhm.
then actually meet Cheryl.
wow.
Like
That's
literally,
awesome.
yeah, like just she just poked her head and she was like, "Would you mind taking a picture with some of my friends?" And it was like she was like, "Yeah," and like she was so like, "Where are you from? You're from the States. I can tell by your accent." And it was so great to have because I think no matter how long you're away from theater, when you walk in, there's just a feeling that you have. What
Yep.
especially if
You're
you've
home.
worked in it or if you're passionate,
Mhm.
about theater,
Right.
it's a feeling. And then when you get to go like backstage and you're, in the wings and you're on the set and you're looking around at everything and
Yep, yep.
it's like, oh my God, let alone meeting the
Mhm.
person that just, did the play. So yeah, it was a great experience. And like now it's just getting harder and harder to go into London, especially, like that area of it, it was just like summertime is very tourist season, there it's crowded normally, but then you add, summer travelers and everything, and it's really difficult. So I always say like we're at that stage of our life, like me and my wife, we're at that stage of our lives where if we go in like once a year, it's a big deal. We're gonna make it count. So and then we just recently we went to see Wanda Sykes um at South
Mm.
and
I
that's
love her.
oh my God, she was brilliant.
She's
She was
so funny. Mhm.
absolutely brilliant. Pee your pants funny. And Billie Jean was there, like yeah, Billie Jean King,
Oh
Oh, I'd
wow.
love to
right?
have been there just to see Billie Jean King's
I know.
my
It's
childhood
crazy. But
heroine, hero, heroine.
but that venue is a little bit more modern, so it was so much more comfortable.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
More of like an amphitheater with a roof, like tons of space,
Mhm.
good seating and all that kind of stuff. And it was such a good night out. Like it was so fun. But yeah, like, like now it's like we really pick and choose what we're gonna do. And I think a lot of people are like that because of first and foremost, the economy. Like if you're gonna spend money on a ticket,
Yeah.
night out, maybe do dinner or something like that,
Yeah.
you're gonna be like super selective, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's why what you guys are doing is so fantastic because it's difficult
Mhm.
to get lesbians out of the house, first of all. To
Mhm.
go to something is really it's a big undertaking. So
Mhm.
I just have all the praise in the world for you guys
Mhm.
because I know that a lot of it is either coming out of your own pockets or your own time, your work, your energy. It's all
Mhm.
into it to keep it going in these like ridiculously trying times.
Yeah. And the price on your ticket was very, very reasonable. Like when I brought a group and they were like, oh, that's awesome. Because usually when I suggest going to a show, the tickets are
Hmm.
so expensive.
Yeah.
Like Denise said, they pick and choose where they're going to go.
Yeah.
And the other
Hmm.
thing I did want to mention was I thought it was really great that at the end of the show, you welcomed everyone to come up and
Yeah.
meet the actresses, meet the
That's
That
crew,
was
sick.
meet the
total spur
stage
of the
crew.
moment thing. They had
Really?
no.
And get to be
Okay,
on the
so
stage and hold the sledge.
yeah. So
Yeah.
for the last show, in addition to like we got to raise money and let's build a relationship, it's of course coming from multiple places, these decisions of like, let's make a wholesome, relationship with the community. And also
Right, right,
we
right.
want people to come back and buy
Right.
ticket, like it's
Exactly.
gotta be multiple. So that day, and I think because that wall that we're talking about, there's in the play, the play's over and we're not spoiling it for anybody.
Right.
There's a moment in the show where an actress comes up and in the middle of a scene, like there's this argument happening and she takes a sledgehammer and goes straight through the wall. And in the middle of like, it's real. It really is happening. She is actually, there's no trick. There's no
Right.
something,
Right.
we don't have the space to make it a trick and it's
Yeah.
magic. We don't have anything like that. And I wanted it to look really real. So I didn't want her to like hold back to worry about breaking something. So I said, just break it. We'll patch it every night or we'll reface it every night. I don't
Aw,
care. And
aw.
so we did. And
Yeah, yeah.
that night it was the last one. So I said, if you want, come on up. And I told them right before, maybe like 20 or 30 minutes before we started the show, I went back and I said, hey, is it okay with you guys if I ask people if they want to take pictures with you? It's the last show. If they want to like come up on the set and, if that's comfortable with you guys, because our backstage space is right there, like
Yeah.
we could close the doors, of course, but some people don't like that closeness with the audience.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just a
Right,
boundary we
right.
maintain. It's not
True.
anything negative. It's just something that, you
No,
want that
yeah.
space when you're changing and all that stuff. So I asked them to make sure it was okay. And they were like, yeah, that's great. That's great. And although, of course, their families and their friends wanted to take pictures with them and everyone was so
Uh-huh.
excited, most people, because I followed up with the second thing, which was thank you for everything. If you'd like to come donate, if you want to take pictures with the actors, that'd be amazing. Anybody up here and the crew and everything. And if you'd like to hold the sledgehammer and hit the wall, I think people just heard that part and just like lined up. And I was like, oh, okay. So that kind of stole the attention that night is, we had the sledgehammer.
That's
A couple audience members came up and I told them to hit it and they were like, really? I'm like, yeah, really. It's the last show. It's we can't do anything with this wall.
right.
It looks beautiful, but we can't do anything with it. So I would hold it, they would smash it. It was such a fun time. So it was a way to kind of keep people engaged
Yeah.
more than just watching the story, like really seeing it's real. It's real stuff.
Absolutely.
It's real walls. It's real stories. It's real people's experiences. It kind of gives them that, more of a connection with it.
Oh
So
yeah.
hopefully
And
that's
it does
what
make
came
people want to
across.
come back. It was
Exactly.
welcoming and warm and like, well, when's the next show?
Mhm.
And I wanted to ask you, who decides like what the next project, the next play will be, and for the for
Mhm.
that group, and then going forward with that, like, where do you, and even before that, where do you find the scripts of
Okay,
the
that's a great
plays?
question. So before we're kind of in a transitional period right now. Like I say, I'm not on the board. I just work with this group for the past year on every
Mhm.
single show. So I'm like the cousin that hangs out at the house. Like I'm that relationship,
Yeah.
but I also do things, So this year was kind of a transitional year because the board is changing up a bit. The group is getting a little bit more attention from a different demographic. So it's kind of shifting into see like how can we be more relevant? How can we do more? How can we, impact the community more? How can we bring in more people? How can we get more people involved? Like we had a
Yeah.
huge group of people audition and every show we get more and more people and that's what we want. So how we choose the shows is pretty interesting. So this year in particular, it's very it's kind of casting a net of who wants to this sounds weird, but who wants to work. So for example, um our founder, the creative director Carol, wanted to do a follow-up show on a show she directed a while ago, and she kind of wants this to be, I think, one of her last shows she's directing. She wants like to be part of the transition of everything, but wants to be a little bit more hands-off with directing, but she's present for everything that's happening. She was there at every rehearsal, like always involved.
Wow.
So she wants to do that to follow up a show that she'd done before. And she and the board and other creative people in the group said, oh, we have this person who's worked with us before. This, I mean, one of the actresses in the show, actually, she's going to be directing a show in the future. Let's collaborate and see what would be a good script. So they talked about this, and they both agreed, like, that's a show she'd like to direct. That's a show that represents the group. And with me, I was a little bit of a diva. I am so sorry, but this summer coming up, there was this script that was presented to me. And actually, okay, so it started with a different script, which I was really, really excited about. It's called Laughs in Spanish. And it opened in Miami a couple years ago, Able Stage, and I saw it, and it was great. I'd seen playwright's other work, Our Dear Dead Drug Lord, that was just traumatizing in a great way. And she is just wonderful, like the playwright. But we applied for the rights, and they were available, but only for professional theaters, not for community theaters.
Oh.
So we weren't able to do it. And that's not her. That's not, she doesn't make that decision. Nothing negative to her. The company, the publishing company, they just make decisions for different reasons. I don't know why. So that was a no. Then there was another script presented to me, and I read it, and I had a very, I'll say, passionate reaction to it in a negative way. I did not relate to it in any way. There wasn't anything that I thought that I could bring or do with it for me specifically. So for 2 weeks, Carol and I were just going at it. We were going everywhere. What can we do? This show, this show. We had a list of 20 scripts, all these different shows. And I had mentioned doing Children's Hour a million times, but it gets overdone and all this other thing. And it's a lot of actors. Children's Hour is about, like, I think 5 to 8 actors or something like that. And that space is so small. So we want to minimize. So over and over and over again, looking. And I stumble on this script, Bull in a China Shop. And the more I read about it, it just kept calling to me over and over again. And it's a true story. It's historical. It's a period piece. It's about education. It's about reform. It's about feminism, the suffragette movement. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't anymore. And it was just such a great find. And I told Kara, I'm like, I want to do this one. I'm ordering it now, but I know I want to do this one. And then we both read it, and she was like, you're right. It's great. I showed it to a couple other people. They were like, you're right. It's great. So there's no real like procedure for how the scripts come about, because we're all so in our own kind of spaces and in our own way. And we bring different experiences together, and we find different, like, each director is going to be different. Each, collaborator for the show is going to be different. So they really make it a personal thing with them. They really work in the best way an artist can before they join the professional field, before they join the industry, where, they do have to answer in a more specific way to higher ups, to producers, to showrunners, to all those things where, they get told no left and right. This is like the last checkpoint of, like, really getting to do it in a creative way that's very fulfilling. So she started that, and the board kind of just continues that. And that's really how it is. There's no real procedure. Each person, it was different. And I'm glad it's that way. And even if there is a procedure, I'm sure they'll make it in a way that's very accessible to whoever they want to work with, and make it collaborative. They won't just say, you direct this, you direct that, you direct this. It's always open. It's always like, well, you can do this script, or if you have another one, we'd love to hear you out. So yeah, it's great.
Wow, that's
is there a set number of shows you do a year?
Roughly 2 to 3. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's just theater shows.
Right.
So there's a fall show, spring show, and a summer show.
Okay. Yep.
Sometimes, depending on, again, we've had a couple hiccups when it comes to locations. We were in different locations last year. We're in different locations this year. We're possibly going to be maybe in a different location in the next couple months or in the next year.
They're
so it's always
local, right?
We're pretty much all over Fort Lauderdale. Like, it's kind of stuck, not stuck, but like really tied to that area. But it could branch out. It could go a little bit south. It could go a little bit north.
Right.
But roughly, there's always a little bit of shift in things. So there's no definitive way to say, it's definitely going to be 3 because maybe because of a location issue or a weather issue or a funding issue because it's community,
Yeah.
we could do the
And
best
then
we can.
that also,
A show could be pushed to another year and maybe we do 2 shows that year.
right. But you guys, so you couldn't buy like a seasonal subscription, could you?
It's more closer to like a donor status because it's community, because they're a 503 something. I forget what it was all the time. Or
501c3. Yeah.
501b3, that thing.
Oh, the 501.
Because they're
Yes.
that, it's more like a donor status. So you do get discounts, I think. You do get some extra perks being a
Right.
donor of a specific status. And you get credit in the program always. You get
Oh,
on your knees begging thank you from me when you walk in the door, all that stuff. So yeah, it's similar to a subscription, but it's more like donation perks.
That's great though. I mean, that's still fantastic
Mhm.
because then that person actually gets to write it off, don't they?
yeah.
I don't
Uh,
know.
I'm pretty
I
yes,
honestly
you do.
probably
a donation. Yeah.
That's the perk to it. Yeah, because it's
probably.
the 501
Mm.
c3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, uh, it's really a labor of love. I mean, that's at the end of the day that you guys,
Sure.
I mean, it's because you do it because you love to. It's just, and it's
Anything
so
in the arts, anything in the
evident.
arts is
Anything.
driven by that,
I was
isn't
just
it?
gonna say
Mhm.
Yeah.
anything with the arts, like even with music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pay scale, if you want to call it that, for to play in a club, like a band, like I have a band or a trio or whatever, a duo, depending, has
Mhm.
not changed in, I don't think,
Mm-mm.
ever, like since the 70s. What they change is the amount of hours you play. So it
Right.
used to be
Yeah.
4 hour set an evening. Now it's a 3 hour evening. But I mean,
Yeah, and
nobody.
then it could be 2
It's
and then it's
just
2 or
you
something.
do it because you love
Mhm.
to, but it's just evident when you see everyone, in even the stage crew would just, I thought that was really nice that you brought them out for a bow with
Always.
everyone. Like first the actresses were
Mhm.
out
Yeah. I
front,
mean, they're like
and
sometimes
then
they're
they
so
brought the stage crew
forgotten.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was really nice because that had to be, that was very well coordinated, like a dance, getting everything moved in the right place, and
It is no small feat what stage managers do.
yeah, and there was
No,
no
and ours
that
is
came
Yeah.
down.
she's amazing. I want to give her a little shout out, Erin Green and her sister Dory Green, the Greens. They're just wonderful. They're both theater performing professionals as well. Erin runs the Fort Lauderdale or Broward Girls Choir,
Uh-huh.
and Dory is part of it and in their temple as well. I think they're part of theatrical performance. I don't know specific things by name. I
Yeah.
feel terrible now. I'm butchering the shout out. But they're both amazing to work with. Like Erin knows her stuff inside and out. And again, even that, like you're saying, they were bowing out. So many people came up to me and mentioned, like, that's so cool. You dressed them like movers and it looked like it
Yeah,
was part of the show. And
That's
I'm
a
like,
yeah,
they are
great
part of the
idea.
show.
Yeah.
The movers is what makes those scene transitions look
right,
so subtle because it's not just people in black and they're tech people and you don't see them. You do see them and that's okay because
right,
it
right.
frames the story and
Yeah,
it
that's a great
frames the
idea.
style and that just adds so much to it. And
Oh,
then I
God.
told them, I'm like,
Absolutely.
oh yeah, white shirts and overalls, and they went the extra mile, and Dory's like, I made
Aw,
t-shirts and it's a business, and she
aw,
made it a whole specific thing.
that
Like,
was a great
it's
idea.
such a unique space.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
That is
it
Yeah,
was such a
because
fantastic.
fun time.
it's
God.
in that venue, you don't have the luxury of like making everything go dark or
Mhm.
coming down or something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Denise, you did theater work, theater managing, right?
Yeah.
Or worked
Yeah.
with that. So
It was a great space, like it still blows my mind that it was community theater because we had like dressing rooms and we had the
Oh
wings
wow.
and
Yeah.
a full on stage and the seats that went up and up and up. They would do
Mhm.
older plays that I was not familiar with, like Butterflies Are Free and Wait Until Dawn
oh yeah.
and all these plays. But it was an experience for me because I didn't know those plays, so it was
Mhm.
it was always amazing to me how we ever pulled it off, and like now that I've been backstage in a West End theater, after a production, and saw that there's like there's a prop master, and then there's stage managers, and then there's the stage crew. So it's all those teams working in tandem. They have like a prop table, and if there's food, they have microwaves and this and that and everything, like to have the food and it's just like, oh my God. Like I remember having to just like go to the deli that was that was like next to the theater and get something that would double as food, like just improvise to make anything work at the time. But in community theater, there's literally one or two stage managers, and that's it. And you are responsible for all the props, all the the scene changes and the sets, how everything's going to change, and you are all in black, and like I will never forget. And because this theater, in order to have the funding in place, they were during the day and afternoons or whatever, during the week it was for children, so they would children and do children's theater, so you had to kind of like share the space with that kind of stuff. So you would come in after a class and there'd be like toys and tiny shoes and little costumes and everything. Have to put it all away. And we were doing Camelot, and I will never forget this because it was so damn funny. That there's this big moment in Camelot when the first act is ending, and it's him with the sword, because he's figured out that Lancelot and Guinevere are having an affair, and it's this dramatic monologue. Like sweeps his cape off and he walks to exit the stage, and the spotlight is still sitting where he was, like this moment for everybody to reflect. And I am in the wings ready to shoot out, to change the sets for act two, and I see this tiny little red sequin shoe, and the kids were doing Wizard of Oz. It's this tiny shoe that got stuck under his big heavy cape, but the shoe was in the spotlight, and the lights went black, and I ran out, and I'm getting the shoe, and there's people in the front row, and there 3 or 4 of them came up to the stage, and they were like, excuse me, what was the significance of the shoe? Like, it was a mistake.
Did you come up with something deep?
No,
like so
like,
deep you can't think about it?
Oh, that would be me. I'd make something up entirely. I'd be like, it's the symbol of love and passion, something. I'd make something up.
Guinevere's shoe was a child.
His inner child.
Yeah.
I just like blew it. I was just like, it was a mistake, like, and with it. But yeah, it's just like, that's like how dedicated those season ticket holders were.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Samantha, do you like know what the next production's going to be? Is that something that's in the? Well, you did say the next one that's coming up.
Yes, I did, but I can say them more neatly here.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you something else, but it slipped my mind. But yeah, I was wondering, God, what was the next one? You said it before, because I want to come to see it.
Okay, so
a group together for that.
Yes. So if you follow, first off, anything else you want to know, I would follow at Lesbian Thespians on Instagram. Lena's keeping it all updated. But we are in the workings of the next play of Shower Songs, kind of like auditions are getting figured out of where they're going to be and all these different situations. And after that is Stop Kiss by Diana Sun, is a very famous play. And it is, oh my God, it's a classic. It's beautiful. And then oh my gosh, sorry. Then there is in the summer, Stop Kiss is in the spring. That is in either February or March, either end of February or beginning of March or end of March or something, one of those months. And then after that in the summer is the show I'm directing, Bull in a China Shop. And I am blanking on the playwright right now. And I was so excited. And I wrote her name like 15 times. What is her name? I'm just gonna subtly Google it here.
I feel like that
But
Bull in a China Shop is one that we need to get the word out. Like people got to see that.
Oh
There's
yeah,
nothing that we need more, than a rise in feminism right now.
right.
No,
You
God,
know,
oh yeah.
let us know. We'll help you PR this.
oh, definitely. You
Get
get
the
us some cast members, like get us a direct.
Oh yeah, Bryna Turner. That's it. Bryna Turner. Sorry, Bryna Turner is by Bryna Turner.
Okay.
And yeah, no, we're all about it. And actually, I think one of her plays was done recently, or is being done. I believe it was done recently by either New City Players or one of the local theater groups. They did, I believe it's called The Marriage. Or I'm blanking right now. I should have prepared. But one of her plays is already being done, so I'm so excited that she's getting more attention with this play.
Great.
Yeah.
Which yes, it's all about feminism, the suffragette movement, specifically lesbianism. It's based on a true lesbian story from the 1900, like 1900, like 1900s.
Cinnamon
Wow.
Jack times.
All
Yeah.
these love letters, and it's so romantic, and it's hot, and it's
Oh,
sexy, and it's
nice.
funny, and it's full of action and activism. And if you're looking for like that activism, like,
Aren't
oh,
we
I got to
all
do
right
something,
now?
it makes me want to
Yeah,
march. Like,
You're
yeah.
feeling so stuck about where can I go? What can I do? What can I say? So if we have these kind of events and
mm-hmm,
things that we can throw ourselves into, it's the arts,
mm-hmm,
especially a play that
Yeah.
is going to be like Bull in the China Shop. So like then you feel like you're doing something, you're supporting something,
mm-hmm.
you're learning the history behind a movement, that you've
Oh yeah,
just kind of like heard about. So
Yeah.
absolutely.
those are the kinds of things I think that, that are so needed right now. Like we just need outlets. We need positive,
Mm-hmm,
forward moving, forward thinking outlets, you know.
And like I mentioned, this was affordable. This was a nice afternoon
Exactly.
right.
out
Yeah.
for six of us that came that day, and you could still go out to dinner. Nothing broke the bank as far as like coming to see an awesome play, and you get to meet people afterwards. It was just a really nice, uniting. I did want to say, I remember what I was going to ask you. Did you
Mm.
see the drag version of the Golden Girls when it was here at the Broward Center?
Yes.
Because
Okay,
they
I saw
invited
it in
people on
videos.
stage.
I
Yeah.
saw so much of it in videos. I love the Golden Girls. I am obsessed. I grew up watching, well, my grandma watched it. My grandma's Cuban and she loved like
Yeah.
sitcoms and
Yeah.
Oh,
all
yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah.
And Golden Girls was one of them. And I love the Golden Girls. I love B. Arthur. Dorothy was my
Yes.
favorite
Me
always.
too. Me
With
too. I
Sophia was
relate
like right
to her.
behind, but like B. Arthur was just
Yeah.
amazing. And
Yeah.
I had seen all those promo clips. Like there was that. And I want to say around the same time there was like a Golden Girls pop-up place in Wynwood down where I work.
Yes. Yes. I went
There
to
was
that
that, and I
also.
remember seeing that
Yeah.
come up, and I was like, "Oh my god!" So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
saw as many videos of it as I could, but I didn't get to go see it. I was so sad.
Well, the reason I bring it up is because it was the way your play was, situated was very reminiscent of that because
Mm-hmm.
the set was similar where they
Mm-hmm.
had the kitchen on one side and they had the living
Mm-hmm.
room on the other side, and not too
Right,
much
right.
of that changed. And then the
Mm-hmm.
other reason why it was reminded me is at the end, if you bought a VIP ticket, you could
Mm-hmm.
at the end and go up and take pictures with the actors and be on
Oh,
stage
that's
with
amazing.
them and be sitting in that living room and be on the stage like with you with the wall and
Oh,
stuff.
that's
So that
awesome.
reminded me so much of that, the way you structured that
Mm-hmm.
thing
That's
at the
great.
end and the way the
I think
stage was.
Maybe
that's a
maybe
really
it was some kind of subconscious something,
yeah.
Yeah,
because
that's
I
why I
That's
love
was
a
them so
really
wondering.
good
much.
way to engage, especially on the last night, because
Yeah,
what do you got
Yeah.
to lose. Like you
right,
Mm-hmm.
right,
literally give away mementos or whatever. But
right.
Mm-hmm.
there's always like I swear to God, like JD is a master of like what you like one of those like what can we do, like what little memento or what can we give away.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's a master at that kind of thing. It's so
Thanks.
great. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
It's true.
that was, yeah, like I'm thinking like in your case, like maybe you could have had like, was that paper on the wall or was the wall? I don't remember what the wall was made out of, but like if
Plaster,
you
wasn't it?
Oh,
find the name on the wall and taken a
so
piece of it with you.
okay. So it was wood originally. It's all wood. It's all plywood. It's all
Good.
underlayment
Okay.
plywood. The only one that wasn't was the brick wall, and that one I like. It was great because we'd used it for another show or something. So I repainted it all to be red brick with all that detail, and it was so
Oh
fun.
wow.
But the
Yeah, that
other
was.
one, it's to make it look like stucco. It was wood, and then I took joint compound and just kind of
Oh,
like sponged it. And after
go.
it dried for like 15 to 20 minutes, like took a scraper and made little patterns in it. So it looked like an exterior, not an exterior, but like in a farmhouse, that stucco kind
Yeah.
of wall.
Yeah.
So when you
Yeah.
broke
Yeah.
through it, you see like this powder and this, like there was something versus wood. It'll kind of just stay together and just go
Yeah.
where you're going.
Right.
You
Right.
hit
Exactly.
it and it's got joint compound and plaster. There's going to be this like real show
Right.
of a something.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if it
So
was
yeah,
dry.
if we could have.
Like
Mm,
sheets of drywall have that same kind of powder explosion, you know.
mm-hmm.
So that's just like great thinking, like as far as the special effect, you know.
Right, right.
And the premise of the wall, Denise, was that, I mean, unless I got this wrong, was that the
Mm-hmm.
mother, the one girl's mother hated the wall, right? And she wanted to get rid of that
Mm-hmm.
wall. But it was the wall that was the load-bearing wall that held everything up, so you couldn't get rid of it.
Right.
And right, and she kept saying, "Oh, she was the meddling, kind
Yeah.
of mother-in-law or whatever." And that was the play, but there was so much more significance to that,
Of
the
course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
load-bearing wall. But I thought the other thing I wanted to mention was at the end of the play, I was waiting for the story to go around that. Do you remember? But maybe I missed something in all of that because um, my friend that I was with, who's a therapist, Mindy,
Mm-hmm.
had a different take on it. But I was expecting at the end of the play, after the girl passed away,
Mm-hmm.
that you remember, like she said, she had her frozen her eggs, and I thought maybe
Yeah.
she was going to have the mom was going to say like that the wife would take her egg and have her baby.
No.
Did I miss something where that she did
It's
use her? Like I
funny
think I
you
thought I missed
mentioned
that.
that.
I totally thought
So
that was going to happen.
no, no, no. You're
Oh,
you're kind of yeah. So here's the thing. So that was in the script. There actually was something like that in the script.
Oh, okay.
The scene in the end was actually a little bit longer. We did quite a few cuts. And there was a scene where she gives the eggs to the daughter. I think it maybe is a context thing or something where in total, it doesn't really make sense if you think about it from the daughter's point of view. So here's why. The play, I really wanted to center on the story, and the main focus of the story was that it's not about money, it's not about this, it's not about that, it's about Lena, the daughter, the main, the
Right,
main focus
right.
of the story. And the mother does mention like, oh, she had her eggs frozen, so if they were going to have a kid she would have told me. But in the end, only the mother mentions it. So through the script we had this idea, and we thought, it's kind of weird that the person who mentions it is the mother, not Lena. So we
Ah,
took that as a character choice and like, oh, she maybe didn't want her eggs, or there was this
okay.
reason. Because originally
Okay.
in the script, she was 20 and then the parents had custody of the eggs, but we're like, that doesn't make sense unless she's a minor. And then it
Right.
would, when she turns 18, she would have them. So
right.
it was a little bit muddy. It wasn't clear cut. And
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
really wanted it to be clean. We wanted the story to be clean. We wanted everything to kind of fit nicely together. So there
Yeah.
is mention of it because it is a cue, like that line of, if she wanted to get her eggs, we would have had access. It's a cue
Right.
for their timer during the scene where they're trying to get pregnant. So like, I'm like, I can't cut that. They need that time. So in
Yeah.
the end,
Yeah.
we ended up like kind of making it more about, again, Lena, where the mother and the daughter's life partner, wife, it's wife. They don't legally get married, but it's her wife.
Right.
They have this moment where they share that they both had miscarriages. So again, I wanted to focus on their relationship, not this thing about what about this? What if we can do
Right.
this to
Yeah.
like
I see.
satisfy me? And like we really wanted to keep it tight where it's about Lena, and after Lena's gone, now they have each other, and that was the focus. So
that was kind of what I think Mindy thought, that it wasn't
Mhm.
the, you know, yeah.
Mhm.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
it was.
interesting. Yeah.
You know, because you never know. There's all this behind the scene, which is so many people brought to us. And like, I know, but if you think about it, in this whole thing, because we thought about it too, and someone in our cast and crew had a similar experience to Sophie's character of trying to trying to conceive and it not happening. And we had a very open, vulnerable discussion about it, that that this specific situation, if you think about it, using this woman's eggs, she's passed away. It's kind
Yeah.
of a weird gray area of morality. It's like,
It
yes, that's
is.
her wife. Of course you have control. But, is this what she would have wanted? If in her whole life she never mentioned it, is it something she wanted? So if we
Right.
really,
Right.
maybe we thought a little too deeply about it because so many people came
Yeah,
up
I
to us
think
after.
I did.
But
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, we did. We wanted to keep it about Sophie and about Lena
Yeah.
and
I
really.
will say this: when you have a play that leaves a few things open to interpretation,
Hmm.
people will talk
Yeah.
about it for the next couple of years,
Yes.
and it keeps
Yes.
going
True.
and
And I
going,
prefer
and
that.
like that it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's like evocative,
Yes.
like not in your face evocative,
Exactly.
like a painting of boobs, you know what I mean?
Right.
Hmm.
Right.
Very
It's
subtle,
thoughtful. It's
right.
thoughtful.
Yeah. And that's like, to me, that's just a sign of like a good script, because
Yeah.
good directing, because you pick and choose what
Interesting.
stays and goes, but
Hmm.
it does make for like lasting conversation about it.
Yep.
Hmm.
People are going to come back to you and be like, "Are you going to do another one? Are you going to do one based on moving
Exactly.
forward?"
Right.
So,
And I'll
like,
say no.
yeah,
That's it.
but it keeps
That's
Just have
them
your own theories.
connected. Keeps
That's
them
true,
connected.
Denise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, because I was just watching The Sopranos have made this big comeback again because
Mm.
they started showing it on HBO Max. And then two of the characters made a podcast about, they
Oh
went through
wow.
every episode from the first one to the last one. And sometimes they had a guest and sometimes they didn't. You had to be like involved in the show to be a guest, like it was someone from
Hmm.
like that episode. And that's what Edie Falco said, because, or maybe it was Ada Turturro, the one that played Janice. One of the two
Hmm.
actresses said the way it ended, where it just went to black. I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys
Yeah,
watched
yeah, yeah. Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. Yeah. The famous
angered
ending.
a lot of us that watched it for 6 years or whatever, that's how you ended it. But I think it was Edie Falco said, yeah, but you're still talking about it. And I
Right.
mean, that's true, like what you said, Denise. Like, you still, people are saying, debating, was it that Tony got shot at that moment, or was it that life went on and it was just done? So
Mm.
Yeah, when you
everything
leave stuff open to
meant for that.
interpretation, yeah, it just
Yeah.
Hmm.
lingers and lingers and lingers and
I mean,
lingers.
I tend to, as the watcher, want an ending. As the observer, I want that it's
Yeah,
over.
yeah,
But it does keep you talking about it, for
that's
sure. If
true. So
there
many,
is,
I mean, if you think about it though, like so many shows, I think like if you're in a writer's room and you get the word from like upstairs that this is your final season, we're not carrying on or whatever, and you have the chance to write a fantastic finale, that's great.
Yeah. That's where you
But
pull out all the stuff.
right.
right?
But like if
Mm.
you just find out, this is it, we're not going to move forward, and you've already filmed those episodes.
Mm.
Like JD, remember when we had Mary Catherine Garrison on, and she was saying that they filmed the last scene of Somebody Somewhere,
Oh
not
yeah,
knowing that it was the last scene, and
yeah.
Mm.
but it felt like you guys just nailed it
Did yeah,
with the ending.
really did,
They
yeah.
didn't have a clue. So sometimes it's luck, but I mean, I feel like shows that do end up like getting canceled after they've already filmed, the end of their season, they don't get that chance. But it
Yeah,
also, people will
yeah.
always talk about, like, I wonder why it ended. Why did it end? And like, God, they could
Mhm.
have went so much further with that character, and they could have done this, and it just keeps people talking about it. So like that
That's true.
yeah,
That's
that can
true.
be such a plus without even knowing it. You
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's fantastic. But I tell you what, I'm really looking forward to like the next
Me
ins-
too.
all the installments coming up, all the
Yeah.
shows coming up. That's going to be great. And like I said, I just feel it like it's just so needed right now that everybody needs some kind of outlet. You don't have to be a creative person. You don't have to be um I mean, the thing of it is, though, but if you are and you want to be involved, what a great thing
Hmm.
to volunteer your time, and
Oh
help
yeah.
in, in a theater group because
Oh
it's
yeah.
so beyond rewarding. Like
Oh
I have
yeah.
no words to explain what that time means, what it meant to me. Like I was so thrilled to even get back in it when I first moved over here and worked in the West End for a little bit. Um, it just brought it all flooding back, and it's that
Hmm.
same rush and that same feeling, and it's like a roller coaster of things are great and everything's clicking to, oh my God, what's going on? Oh, this happened, that happened, this happened, it's
Yeah.
just up and down, but it's the people you meet and the relationships that you form are like just everlasting. It's fantastic. It's great.
Yeah.
It's such a
Hmm.
good thing to be involved in, and right now just needed. Everybody I think needs to get off social media, get their faces off their
Oh
phone,
yeah.
do
Oh
stuff,
yeah. Go touch grass. Let's all
yeah,
go touch grass.
go stand in the
That's
grass.
So,
true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
yeah, and and art is a form of that. Art is a
Hmm.
form of touching grass. So
Yeah.
we're so lucky to have it, but to also be involved in it and throw some money at it if you can. It's just the perfect thing. I
Mhm.
really I wish you guys all the best in this upcoming season. I think it's gonna be
Thank you so much. We're so excited for it. And if I can, for everybody watching, if you're local,
fantastic.
um, we want people to audition. We want so many different people. We want anybody and everybody, every background, every age, every level of experience. If it's not the show for you right at that moment, we want you on our roster for future shows. We want
Sure.
volunteers, all that. Because like you're saying, the more even if you're super creative, come. If you're not super creative, it's so fulfilling because you learn so much and you
Right.
talk to people maybe you would never have spoken to, or
Right.
you learn about stories you may have never heard, or
Right.
Right.
something. And I know I've learned a lot just in this year working with this company. So and I try to be like, let me be a part of everything. So that's anybody, any level, like we
What
want
about
everybody involved,
um just real quick while we're wrapping up?
Mhm.
What about writers? Are they able to submit plays to you
I
guys?
was
Yes.
gonna ask that.
Okay. Yes. So these two scripts, so this script, Load Bearing Walls. I'm like, oh, which script? Load Bearing Walls is not published. It was a premiere. It was the first premiere of the script of this play.
Great.
The play we
Okay.
did last year, Boxes We Keep, was a premiere play. So I strongly recommend, and I would love to do this as an event, like a new play showcase or something, like
Yeah,
short plays, 10-minute plays, a one-act mini festival or something like that. I would love, 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 even if it's not Lesbian Thespians, if it's anybody, but some
sure.
collaboration or something to kind of come and say, "Hey, I wrote this. Can we workshop it?" Because they've done it before. Like Load Bearing Walls was workshopped with Lesbian Thespians.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
The one last year, the Boxes We Keep was workshop. Like it's something. If we're not actively working on a show, we're helping people work their shows out. So
Yeah.
I think that would
Oh,
be wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. A night of one acts is something I not enough people do. Not enough people do short play festivals, one acts. It's something that was I think big in the 2000s and
Yeah.
big in
Yeah.
like the 2010s. But it's now kind of more difficult for those things to happen on a more not relevant, but more like given attention, I guess, scale. Like
Yes.
they need more
No,
attention.
it is.
They
It's
are
really
relevant. They should be shown.
it's
So
so
many
hard
great actors
for
did
a
short play
playwright.
festivals.
Yep.
that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. If you're a
Well,
playwright,
absolutely.
you,
Yes,
you
writers.
know,
Yes,
you
yes,
you
yes, yes.
literally like you know, uh, you map it out that like, okay, well, I write plays,
Mm,
so I need to get on a plane and get to New York, and I mean that's your first
yeah.
thing, right? But if you
Yep.
can
Mm,
do things locally, it's
hmm.
it's more affordable. It gives you experience before
Hmm.
you go like
Yeah, absolutely.
green footing it into New York, thinking you're going to get a
Hmm.
show on off Broadway.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would really encourage people that have thought about it or have ideas or that are have fully formed plays that they've written but don't know what to do with them. Like
Yeah. That's
get
that's
involved.
where it starts.
Yeah,
Honestly, like
fantastic.
this
Good.
play I mentioned before, like Laughs in Spanish, I'm so glad it hit here because it takes place, like, for me, everything about it, I was like, oh my God, that was me. It takes place in Wynwood. It's during Art Basel, and I'm like, I drive through Art Basel every year, getting
Oh,
out of traffic. I used to be like involved in Art Basel because I was in art school, like it's so, especially local plays. Like if you tell your story, who nearby you are going to resonate with you. That's
Of
their
course.
neighborhood too. That's their experience too.
definitely.
So, it needs backing, it needs support, it needs workshopping, it needs feedback, it needs phases, it needs to be rewritten 30 times. Like, you don't need to wait and pay a bunch of money for people who went to all these schools to do that up in New York. There's more than talented people around you too. They're everywhere.
Of course, of
Do you
course.
do a call out like at a certain time, like, we're taking submissions, or do people just submit? And also, I wanted to ask you if people want to audition, like for both of those
Mhm.
things. Do you have a
So
time you take that?
there there hasn't been a call out. It's more like because I guess there was such a smaller company and we're in this transitional period where we're getting a lot more attention. There's no formal procedure, but it would be great if someone just reaches out, talk to us, send Elena a message on Instagram like, hey, I've got this. Like we said, she'll make it happen. She'll make the conversation at least happen and then go
Yeah,
from
Yeah.
there.
yeah,
But if it could be a bigger scale thing where we do hey, let's submit your plays, let's do something where we'll pick the 10 best ones and we'll do a night of one acts, or we'll workshop it with different directors, whatever, and from there it could build. So there's no formal procedure, but reach out, maybe they could figure it out, we could figure it out. And then for auditions, look at Instagram, look at Backstage, look at Instagram, look at Facebook, follow on
Right.
everything, because they're very very much about posting. There's a casting call, there's maybe someone, it couldn't work with their work schedule, we need to replace somebody, there's
Like,
all this stuff. So the social media is where we're pivoting to, because that's
Yeah.
not that we weren't there
the way it's
before, but
done right
that's
now.
where we're
Yeah.
pivoting to way more. So
Oh,
really getting
yeah.
in people's faces. So Instagram,
Yeah. The
email,
necessary,
anything.
necessary evil. Yeah, that's what I call
Mhm.
social media now, is a necessary evil, even if you couldn't
Yeah,
stand it and it's taken up, you have to. You just have to.
yeah.
So,
All about
But
like
if you
changing our.
maneuver it the right way, if you go in with the right intentions, if you go in to help people or bring
right.
experiences or bring people together, that's how you know what you're doing is right.
Yeah.
And
In my personal opinion.
only you can change what you see, because it's all
Yeah,
Right.
in
exactly.
the algorithm.
Right.
And you start liking arts and plays and things like that, it's going to change your feed, and you're going to see
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh
more feel
yeah.
And
good
very
things than feel
quickly.
bad. Yeah.
I
Yes.
made the mistake of looking for something natural for blood pressure, to lower your blood pressure
Now you
and
get all the ads.
cholesterol. And now I'm so confused. I don't even know what to get. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm buying all these things and I'm like, I can't take them all. I don't, so yeah, you're right though. You can change what you see pretty
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple of
Mhm.
likes, couple of keywords. Yeah, we'll do
Yeah.
it. But everybody knows to go and on their Instagram follow Lesbian Thespians, because, like you said, it's a really informative, up to date, always engaging account. And
Mhm.
that's the best, probably the quickest way
Yeah.
to reach out to get with
Oh
some.
yeah.
But listen, Samantha, we appreciate your
Thank
time so
you.
much. Thank
Thank
No,
you.
I
you.
appreciate being here. This was awesome.
Yeah,
This
I'm
was
so
great.
glad we were able to do this. Fantastic. We
Thanks for
were,
making it happen on your phone. Because when I
yeah,
got the text
Okay. Oh,
earlier,
I
I
was
was
gonna
like,
fight.
oh
I was
no.
gonna fight. It was either gonna be here or
I
Starbucks or the
love that.
library or something.
I love that you didn't give up. I love
yeah,
that.
yeah. Also, like, keep us in mind when these plays happen. Reach out to JD, because we would
Hmm.
love to have the playwright, actor, director, whoever,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
come on and talk about them before they launch, and try and build up some momentum for you.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I would love that. Love that. Love
Great,
that. I love all that
absolutely.
stuff. Thank
fantastic.
you so much for all of this.
You're welcome. Thanks. Have a
Take
great
care.
evening.
Thank you
Have a
so
great
much,
night.
Take care, guys.
Samantha.
Bye.
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 fire inside. Told that we're too loud, but we scream and we'll never bow. Tears and scars forge this steel. No more doubts, this power's real. We are unbroken, we're the storm. All their rules, we've torn apart the norm. No apologies, hearts ablaze, we're the sun.